enhanced physical performance, increased bone health, increased strength, faster healing of injuries, accelerated recovery, enhanced endurance, and weight loss. These are just some of the benefits of the PED, which Ryan Garcia was just suspended for a whole year for using in his fight against Haney. Today we're going to dive in to what has been happening and why, as a pro fighter, I get so offended when athletes cheat. Okay, the type of drug we are talking about, the PED, is called ostarine. Ostarine attaches to proteins in the body known as androgen receptors. When ostarine binds to these receptors, it tells muscles to grow. I am sure most of you caught Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. You watched the fight. It was spectacular. Everybody came out of that going, wow, Ryan Garcia, what a stud. Just put on an amazing show. That left hook of his looked so on point. But one of the things I've wondered about before I read to you exactly what happened is when we see these young athletes and they kind of, you know, their body type looks like this, looks like this, looks like this, and then all of a sudden, boom, and they just put muscle on. Canelo, all of a sudden out of nowhere, just like six pack, boom, looks so big. Ryan Garcia, other people. And as somebody myself who has done some weightlifting, my body did not explode when I started lifting weights. Kind of went from maybe walking at 155, got up to 160. That was me lifting pretty heavy 2 times a week. Maybe these guys are doing much more, but every time I see somebody popping weight, I kind of go, I wonder. And let's get into exactly what has now happened. Ryan Garcia has been suspended by the New York State Athletic Commission regarding his failed drug test. He did his first test, failed, then did his follow-up B sample. Didn't pass that one either. As a penalty, he will be forfeiting 1.1 million of his purse, pay a $10,000 fine to the Athletic Commission, and serve a 1-year suspension from the sport. Additionally, there's been talk that Haney says he's actually going to sue Ryan Garcia because of, I guess, the reputation of the loss, and some mental duress that he's from. Seems a little ridiculous to me, but let's keep in mind 1.1 million sounds like a lot, but he would have got so much more for this fight. I haven't gone and looked at it, but is it 20, 30, 50? A lot of darn money he would have made. So 1.1 is not massive. In addition, the 2 samples that Ryan Garcia submitted that had the banned substance ostarine in it, they can be used to improve muscle mass conditions, but also they can help with cutting weight. And it was interesting that Ryan Garcia actually chose not to go all the way down in the weight cut, forfeited some money because of that, and came in something like 2 or 3 pounds over. Quick pause from the video. I want to remind everybody that my defense course is now available again. We had a close off date before we launched the 5 weeks, but now you can go through the 30 videos, learn everything about solo home training and defense, partner drills when you get to work with somebody, talk about how I won these belts behind me, but minimize damage to my head, my body, my legs, walk out of fights, not being injured. There's a link down below to vargacombat.com. Right now we have a launch special on. You're going to save 35% by purchasing the course before Monday night. Now this article goes on to say that ostarine must be used in cycles similar to anabolic drugs. And they said this is significant because one of the leading excuses from Garcia's fans, and even in his camp, is that there was a minuscule amount of the drug found in his system, and therefore he must have been the victim of tampering, or sometimes people say, all the supplements I take had a little bit of this in it. The article goes on to say, finding evidence of PED usage in such small amounts is not uncommon, as one of the primary reasons elite athletes are caught is because they simply timed their cycle wrong. Now, I am neither for Ryan Garcia being innocent or him being guilty. I just want to state the facts, but I do want to go on after and talk about the people who actually have been found guilty, who just come on and say like, yeah, I did it, what I think their ban should be. The last thing I want to touch on though in this article is it says, frankly, and more baffling defenses from Garcia's fans will imply that neither ostarine nor the weight cut was what led to Haney being caught by so many left hooks. I mean, there's an argument that, yeah, if your muscles are a little bigger, you can't say that Ryan Garcia is faster, but you can say, okay, when he lands, it's going to be more devastating. You can argue that for sure. It goes on to say that nobody would argue that Haney was caught with too many left hooks, and Garcia is known to have a terrific left hook. But now we have the question whether they landed to such brutal effect because of his pure natural ability or his natural ability in addition to the extra muscle mass achieved by this banned substance. And it's kind of like when you go back to Antonio Margarito versus Miguel Cotto. Of course, Margarito had to land the shots, but the plaster in his hands is going to assist him in breaking down his opponent. Same thing here. Ryan Garcia was looking sharp, no question. But how much of that helped? Did it improve his performance or his ability to hurt Haney by 1%, 2%, 10%? Either way, it's an unfair advantage. Oh, and if you are in the market for any new training gear, whether it be gloves, shin pads, or apparel, X Marshall has a 15% off sale happening right now. Normally 10%, you can get that extra 5% by just clicking the link below. No need to throw in a promo code. Go there, you will get 15% off just by clicking the link. Something else that is very interesting that has transpired in the last week is Ryan Garcia has gone on Twitter and announced, "I'm retiring." Does anybody actually believe he's never going to fight again? No, I don't think so. People like Conor McGregor, "I'm retired, I'm not retired, retired, I'm not retired." Every time something doesn't go quite the way they want, it's just, "I'm retired," but it creates drama, it creates headlines, and they're in the news. That is great for them. And for Ryan Garcia, same thing here. But what you have to wonder at this point is, now that this decision, this win which he had, is being turned to a no contest, is he going to be willing to rematch Haney? You have to imagine that his mindset is, I can beat this guy. I can beat this guy clean and decisively. But you know going forward that he's going to have to pass a whole bunch of tests. He's not going to want to get caught with this again, because a 1-year suspension is bad, but he's only 25. So if he takes a year off, which boxers very often do, and remember they're backdating his suspension to when they last fought. So he just can't fight until April of 2025. During that time, he can train, he can improve, he could come back and have a rematch with Haney, which would probably sell or outsell the last one, making him enormous amounts of more dollars. But with Haney starting a lawsuit, and with Ryan Garcia probably taking it personally, you have to wonder, is this fight gonna happen? Or you could just go the route of conspiracy theorists and just go, oh, maybe this is all to get towards a fight next April, which is just going to sell like crazy. I know a lot of people sometimes go, oh, look at all the antics that Mayweather did, that Conor McGregor did, all the drama, this, that. Is it actually real? Or are they just doing it, again, to be in the news and create more drama? Either way, though, I have to say, as an athlete, I am disappointed. Every time I hear of a fighter taking banned substances, this is not like other sports. I've said that many times on this channel. This is not like other sports where you go in, you beat somebody, and you both exit clean, safe, healthy. If you go in with an unfair advantage and you knock somebody down, you can break bones, you can give them concussions, you can have life-changing effects. And being like, you know what, I'm going to cheat to accomplish that, I think it is so low. I feel like fighters who do this should forfeit 50% of their purse. 50% of their purse to their opponent. I feel like the suspension should be a lot longer than 1 year, because 1 year, again, that's the normal amount of time that some of these elite fighters who are making millions take off anyway between fights. But the reality is, so many people are doing it. I did an episode fairly recently talking about in Thailand how so many of the fighters down there are on some sort of steroid. They say, when I've heard seen fighters defend themselves, they say it's for strictly recovering from injuries. But if you can recover from injuries faster, that means you're getting to train harder, right? You can train harder than everybody else, put your body through so much more, get so many injuries, and then bounce back faster than somebody who has to be a little bit more careful. Oh yeah, I can't push 100% in my training today because I know these injuries are going to add up too much, where I won't be able to train as hard in a day or two or a week or two. So it's always an unfair advantage. There's no justification for it, and ultimately I find it disappointing. But those are my thoughts. What do you guys think down below? Is a 1 year suspension and a $1.1 million fine a severe enough penalty? And do you actually think Ryan Garcia is a victim of maybe being tampered with? Or was it strictly just something in his other supplements? Or you're going, yeah, he probably took some stuff. He's looking a little bit beefy. He probably tried to cheat. Let me know down below. Guys, as always, thanks for joining. I will see you back here soon for another video.